come from with this issue, but we've been here since yesterday. The Executive Mayor and his leadership team is here today, but he's just going to give a feedback from what transpired outside the address he made. He's joined by the MMC for Finance, MMC Davati. He's got the MMC for Energy, the young MMC Wenya. We've got MMC for Corporate and Shared Services, MMC Ngotwana, and we have the ward councillors in the area. I'm going to hand over to the Executive Mayor to address you. Executive Mayor.
No, thank you very much, Paki, and let's greet once again members of the media, the councillors, and members of the mayoral committee that are here, in particular our communities. In Ekurhuleni, we are concerned with some of the disruptions that the communities had to take to the street to voice their concerns. But I must say, the issue of a fixed charge, because it is the first time really that a fixed charge is levied in the manner in which it has been levied, and that there's been a review in the tariff structure for electricity in Ekurhuleni, and that has been an issue of concern for communities, in particular paying communities such as the community of Tembisa. And that since the 1st of July, there has been various engagement, and those engagements were led in the main by the ward councillors, who have since brought the issue up to ourselves. However, we can't just simply review tariffs without council. So we will be having the first council sitting next week. And then we'll want to be guided accordingly how do we also engage with NERSA to ensure that as we do, take the community concerns into account, we are also not found to be wanting legally. However, we have made a determination that it is best that we suspend this fixed charge and allow the conversation to actually happen, and allow some public consultations as well, and importantly to have engagement with all the stakeholders. And we trust that in the next 2 weeks we should be able to come back to communities with a permanent solutions, because this cost the city about 300 million per annum. That is a cost of the particular cost that we're trying to cover. So we will have to look at what are other alternative ways that we can actually make up for this particular cost. As I've indicated, there's MMC of Finance, there's also MMC of Energy, and this team should be able to, together with all the stakeholders, ensure that we've got a lasting solution. I must say that the cost of providing services, the municipal services are quite high. Whether it's a cost of bringing the electricity to our people, the cost of ensuring that there's regular maintenance, there's cables, including outages that are actually attended to. They are very high. Those are not cost of our own making. We buy electricity and we transmit it to our houses. And the cost of water, to get the water from rainwater, transport it to our reservoirs, to our communities, including the other general cost, keeping the city clean, potholes and all that. It's what we always try to ensure that they are cost reflective and they are affordable. And at no stage do we pass any cost that is not justifiable to our communities. And we have to then maintain regular conversations with our communities so that the cost is transparent, but it is also understood. But we do understand when paying communities, they are really pressed, and then they come to us and say, look, let's have a through acceptable platforms, of course. The fact that councillors have been facilitating the process of petitions and all that, including protest. It is allowed as long as the protest is peaceful and it does not infringe in other people's rights. And so far, we've had an experience in Tembisa 2-3 years ago where there was a difficult protest that led to one of our buildings getting burned and the loss of lives. And for now, we are happy that this process has actually been managed. As soon as last night, we were here in Tembisa having conversation with councillors and also some of the stakeholders, the Tembisa Community Forum, the pastors, the taxi association, to ensure that together we actually manage and contain the situation. And we are happy that as soon as today we are here in order to manage the situation, because if the situation escalates into beyond now, it then gets to be violent, and we're happy that we've been able to manage that. Of course, it must take a bit of effort to actually get the message across, so that we actually get the communities to clear the roads and go back to their houses. So what we will also be doing is to have an engagement with the stakeholders to also discuss other services that we are bringing to bring relief to our communities. That is the indigent package that we've actually reviewed, which has been very responsive, and our communities have confirmed that it is impactful. The deemed indigent, so that those who do not qualify for an indigent, because there might be an issue with ownership of the house. In our townships, our communities, they don't keep up the wills, for instance, and once the head of the household passes on, there's then a family feud, which then impacts on the arrangement, on the relationship that we have with the family. We've designed certain mechanisms to actually assist communities, whether it's through the letter of authority, but we've also created another mechanism through the affidavit. Those are some of the things that we'll have to explain to our communities, including the debt write-off. We've increased now our intervention in that area, 75% debt write-off, which has been very impactful. Including some of the rehabilitation packages that we're actually taking to our communities. And of course, the overall service delivery issues, which we think we must also be able to take up community concerns on.